Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and on this podcast, we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights of the modern regeneration of the show. Today's episode is episode 13, The Parting of the Ways. If you have not kept up till now, you should go back and watch the rest of the season, because this is the season finale. The Doctor battles an old enemy that he thought he had destroyed forever, the Daleks. This episode was written by Russell T. Davies, directed by Joe Ahern. It first aired on the 18th of June, 2005, and had a final ratings of 6.91 million viewers. Let's go around and introduce ourselves.
Hi, this is Brian.
This is Frank.
This is Arlene.
This is Auburn.
Hey, this is Josh.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Kelsey.
And this is Eugene. This episode picks up right where Bad Wolf left off. The Daleks ask Rose what the Doctor is planning to do. The TARDIS suddenly materializes on the Dalek ship, surrounds Rose and the Dalek that is guarding her, and brings them on board. Jack quickly blows up the Dalek, destroying his altered defabricator weapon in the process.
It's really interesting. We actually see the TARDIS flying through space.
This is the first time we've seen it spinning, and I think it looks really cool.
I like the spinning.
Yeah.
Doesn't spin in the credits?
But not like this. It's at an angle.
Oh.
And it's spinning towards something instead of at you or away from you.
Oh, you're not with it.
It was just
Yeah.
spinning in the credits where it's just moving along. It's booking along and spinning, which is a great visual effect. And I think that's the only reason they really put it in.
Yeah. Because it's like, the TARDIS doesn't do that. The TARDIS would just materialize inside the Dalek ship.
Completely understood, and I still like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think there's two reasons. The first is because it's a great effect and a lot of fun. The second, I think, is to explain the whole why Jack put the extrapolator, which was from Boomtown,
Yeah,
and hook that into the TARDIS to give it a shield, because Rose had mentioned that it doesn't have any shields. And this is saying, no, because we're going to need this device further on and tell you what this is about. So they put it on, tells you, no, we now have a force field around the TARDIS, so we can show you this by all the missiles being exploding and the TARDIS being fine.
It is weird that they kind of say that the TARDIS has no protection or shields, but I think in an earlier, or in a classic episode, you can't fire a weapon inside the TARDIS console. So this is one of those things where it's like, it depends whatever the story is trying to.
Jack destroys
the
Dalek inside the TARDIS. So.
But it's also like, oh, nobody can just break into the TARDIS. And then if the script calls for it, oh, well, people could break into the TARDIS. It depends on the script. But still, it works.
I was really curious. So when the TARDIS travels, it doesn't physically just travel places. It just
dematerializes.
It can. It is a spaceship. It's a spaceship.
It just doesn't do it
much. So it can do that. It can travel through physical space. They do it in a couple of different episodes, but
and the
as a
Doctor
production point of view, it's just it's easier. It's there.
Yes.
We don't have to see it traveling a lot.
And there is one episode where it does fly, and it kind of like breaks. It gets all smoky and stuff, and the Doctor says, "Well, for a spaceship, it actually doesn't travel through space much because it doesn't usually fly. It just
and I think that's a production limitation at the time, but then now with all the CG, we can show it spinning in space." So I think it's fine.
You just like the effect.
No, I like the effect. It doesn't get the missiles don't hit it. I just like that.
It's because it's blue and it's kind of shiny, almost like a light spinning there.
It continues the theme.
Shiny blue for you.
There are a lot of blue lights in this episode. I could point them all out, but I'm not going to.
I love that the Daleks were worried.
Yeah.
I'm asking Rose, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? What is he going to do?
And they also shake when they talk. I think this is one of the first times we actually see that, or...
Well, it's only the second episode with them.
Yeah, but it's noticeable now.
Well, with the multiple Daleks, you have to tell which one is talking.
Is it always the same Is it the same actor doing the voice, do you know?
In the classic series, yeah.
A classic? I don't know, but
Nicholas
Briggs.
I meant the current series.
I think so,
but I don't even know if that's true because I know there are different Dalek.
Yeah, later on they start to sound a little differently.
There is one main guy.
Yes,
Joe Exterminate.
Nicholas Briggs.
I think this is also the first time that a Dalek has been inside the TARDIS in the console.
I think so too. I think it's
wait.
unique.
Before that,
Yes.
when else and do we ever see like when the TARDIS materializes, like the people that are there just show up inside the TARDIS?
Well, I think that was something he did on purpose
We did that before, right?
in this.
Well, we do that later on.
We do it a lot later on.
But before this, did we do that?
In the
No.
current season, current series, or the
2005, right now.
classic? Give me a minute to think. I don't think so.
Because it happens after, for sure.
Oh yeah,
So
repeatedly.
I was trying to think of before.
No, that hasn't happened yet since the beginning of this series.
So this is the first time it happens. In this.
So-
But yeah, he did that. The Doctor.
The Doctor did it on purpose,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to allow someone to come in if
Yes.
if the TARDIS materializes in a spot where there's people. If not, they'd
Yeah.
be squashed.
Or what?
Well, I think he was
we
trying
can
to
break
get
the
Rose off the
timeline,
ship.
but
Can't.
something you get scattered.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not living any longer.
Okay.
So was it on purpose
more
that
Odie
the
couldn't say.
Dalek also got extrapolate? Wait, no. What's the word? Materialized inside as well, because then they shot it. So it's
Yes.
like at first I was like, if you thought they were going to interrogate the Dalek, that's not this show. No, they're just going to
It
shoot
was just
it.
to protect Rose and surround her. And I think at this
can-
point they don't know some of the other things they're going to be doing.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just this Dalek is in the proximity that would fit where the TARDIS is going to be taking up that space. And two things can't exist at the same time. So they're bringing that on board.
They have to bring both. Just put it
To
that
save
way.
Rose.
They just like
And the Dalek is shooting.
He shot first.
when they
The Dalek's name was Greedo.
It'll be the other way around.
Zombie delay. Manacha chica, kmeni chica. Jabba. Okay, I'm stopping.
The Doctor explains that he was there during the Time War. The final act was supposed to destroy all the Daleks, and that at that same moment, it killed off his own race. He realizes that the genocide of his people was pointless since the Daleks survived. They exit the TARDIS and meet the Emperor of the Daleks. His damaged ship fell through time at the end of the war, and that is how its race survived. For centuries he hid, infiltrating the systems of Earth and rebuilding the Dalek race by harvesting humans from the games. The Emperor states that all humanity has been removed from the human genetic material to create new, pure Daleks.
But
How-
not just. I was gonna not just from the games, but for hundreds and hundreds of years,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
been coming up
The
with ways
homeless,
to.
the weak, the
Prisoners, refugees.
The
Oh,
weak-minded.
But
how does
the
he
games made it really easy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is a little bit more efficient. way
How
of
did he
doing it.
describe it? He didn't say unimportant.
He said the weak. Didn't he say the weak? Or...
yeah. But all the not voiceless. God, what was the word that he
I
said?
don't know.
But it's
can't
like
remember now.
Remember?
Because then he listed the prisoners, refugees,
Yeah.
but it's all of the unimportant, all the.
So I
I
got a
don't
question
remember.
about the Time War.
Uh-oh.
If he realized he didn't, or if he exterminated all of the Daleks, supposedly, what about going back in time before he did that? Or since it was the Time War, it erased them from time itself, so they didn't even exist before he did that? Like ripples in time.
The Time War is very convoluted, so you can't say definitively, but it doesn't appear that he erased the Daleks from history, just that the Daleks went away
Well, from what?
from this
Yeah,
episode.
but so that's
No, from
so
what
why,
Jack
why
said.
is it such a surprise to see them again if he's traveling back in time from time to time?
Because again, with the convoluted, you have to accept with the Time War that the Daleks are just gone.
Right. That's what. Okay.
Yeah,
But
they're
they
just
were
gone.
there in the history. From
Right.
what Jack said is he thought it was a myth because they were there, but then they all just disappeared. So they all from all periods of time went to the Time War.
Because Roderick knows what a Dalek is.
Right. Yeah. Well, that.
Right.
Yeah, but it obviously didn't work. But I'm saying that because they were those few Daleks that survived, or the one, whatever. I can't I have to. But
The Emperor was the one, and then created more.
But for him to be, you wouldn't be surprised that they existed if you went back in time before you destroyed them.
From what we get, anything in anything from the Doctor's present to the future, he should never run into a Dalek ever again.
Right. Right.
So when he travels back in time, he still shouldn't run into Daleks
Okay.
because they're gone.
Because they were
Right.
pulled from
Pulled.
there to go to the
Yeah.
fight with the
But
Time
people
War.
remember the Daleks, but now they equate them with myth. Just like earlier on, Jabe, the tree.
The tree, Jade.
Couldn't believe that he was a Time Lord because they're the thing of legends. They're myth.
Right.
So because the Time Lords,
Also,
the same thing happened to the Time
There were
Lords.
casualties of the Time
So
Lord as
they're
well.
unicorns.
So
and
it's almost
mermaids.
like
Yes.
it's almost like the memories are like echoes of what once existed.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Before we move on, I know you wanted to start reading.
I didn't
I
read
liked.
this.
That's all from your memory.
No,
Sorry.
that's how you usually talk.
I have a pedantic memory. I mean, what?
No, I like what the show is trying to say about people in game shows.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
reality TV.
The commentary on
The
that.
commentary on reality TV is like, oh, it's the unwanted, the people who are like the bottom of the barrel. That's why we're taking them, and they're just there for your entertainment. So
Yeah, by the end of the episode, I want to discuss Roderick again. I
Okay,
have things
understood.
to say about him.
So does Roderick.
And when you're talking about the Daleks shaking
Yeah.
and that they are scared of the Doctor, in this scene, when he yells, I think he yells, "I'm talking," or something, they physically back up.
Yeah.
They're scared of him.
Which is undalek-like.
Very.
Well, he talks
undalek-like.
about their fear. That's the one little ounce of emotion left.
Yeah.
And also, he's a legend. He's a myth to them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Because he's the one that ended them.
Yeah.
And they don't know. I mean, they're all new Daleks. They're
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So they've only heard about Time Lords and how Time Lords wiped out
then
the Dalek race. And yeah.
the new emotion of blasphemy,
Yeah.
like
In worship.
I thought it was
Yeah,
very
they
interesting
become the cult of the Dalek Emperor.
how the
Who
doctor
are
looks.
playing Coachella next year.
I thought it was very interesting how the doctor basically looked. From what he said, he looks at faith as insanity. 'Cause
Yeah.
No, I don't get
Maybe not that far, but
he said you're insane.
Right. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Well, anyway.
Continue. We
But
can
it's
talk
just
about
it's just
now.
in
We'll
its
talk about
simple on the page form.
That's not something that the Daleks have. They don't have ideas of worship or blasphemy or anything like that. They've gotten rid of. But that's part of the humanity that's still left in the cellular structure that the Daleks are now made from. They're made from the human.
Right.
and
But
they
when
can't
So
cope
you're saying
with that.
they have part of the human with them, and they can't cope with that because that's the thing they detest
Yeah.
most. They want to be pure, their own race, their own Dalek race.
So then
And
what was
that's
he
what
count-
drives them insane. That's why he says you're insane. Because he
And this
knows
is
they
just
can't
proof of
handle it.
Not because
'Cause
you
you-
believe in worship, but this is proof of it because you shouldn't have that, and you hate yourself so much because you're human now. You have a little bit of human in you.
All right.
It's that and being in space for hundreds of years and trying to be quiet. That has just driven them crazy. And the self-hatred of to survive, what they have to become and what they came from. So it's just that they had now those concepts proves that there's some human in them, and that's what's driving them crazy, rather than the idea of those things by themselves. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
It makes sense.
Now, Russell Davis is an avowed atheist.
Uh-huh.
And so he
That-
does try and put that in there.
I totally think you can extrapolate that from it, but he said it right off them saying something that was faithful. Don't blaspheme. And they're like mad with faith almost, like very blind, zealot-like faith.
yeah,
And then he
zealot.
says, you're insane. So I'm agnostic, so I'm not making an agenda here. But that's kind of
Chicken.
what I got. What's that, chicken?
Chicken.
What you call me? I'm just kidding. I wanted to point out that the background special effects are really cool in this spaceship because you can see like just hovering Daleks in
Yes.
the background
Yeah.
out of focus, and it just shows you that there's a lot to this this set that is all in the computer.
Yeah.
It just makes it more believable.
Oh, I see. Like when they're on the bridge.
Yeah, because you see the close up of Eccleston, and then in
Yeah.
the background there's this
Yeah.
hovering, and there's halls and decks.
It's a lot
and
different than
things.
that one Dalek in a warehouse.
Yeah.
But were there blue lights?
Yes.
Okay.
No, only in their eyes.
that's why he noticed.
There you go. The Doctor, Rose, and Jack escape in the TARDIS and return to the top floor of the game station. Most of the people have been evacuated, but there are still about 100 people on the lowest levels.
How about that moment when he shuts the door to the TARDIS and leans up against it?
And it gives a grin. That one?
No,
when
that's when he's exit.
I see what you mean.
No,
Yeah,
which is
oh,
great.
yeah.
When he is leaving and he turns one back and just grins at them,
And then
he shuts the
immediately-
door, and
Yeah.
I think that's the moment, the impact of
What's going on?
that his people are gone
Yeah.
for nothing,
When he leans ahead.
and he leans his head against the door, and they hold on that for a rather long time.
Yeah, they
and
push
it's
in too.
Yeah, where
Is
it's
it right
just
after
like,
he gives him the big pep talk?
no, this is right when they say they're
They're
leaving.
still in the TARDIS.
They're leaving the Dalek Emperor.
Oh, I heard you.
I know you heard me.
But yeah, he leans in and you just hear the echoing voices of all the Daleks.
They're heading back to Satellite 5.
Okay.
Like they're saying worship him or blaspheme.
Yeah, and
okay.
worship him and
Exterminate
worship him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exterminate.
And it sounds like they're still shooting at the TARDIS.
Oh yeah,
right?
they're still trying to shoot.
Which is
So
protected by the extrapolator.
I think that all of those sounds that are going on are familiar to him from the war, and it's
He's hearing it from the war.
and he's like
Yeah.
reliving those battles,
Yeah.
and it's
That
just
might have been
amazing.
when I was
he's
eating my
hearing
cookie.
sounds he thought he'd never hear ever again.
Yeah, he thought
and
it
I
was
think it's
done.
getting to him.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
Coming back. It's a-
The Doctor devises a plan to alter the station to emit a delta wave. This will destroy the entire Dalek fleet, but could also destroy all life on Earth. He calculates that it'll take 3 days to create, but they only have 22 minutes until the fleet arrives. The Doctor gets started.
I just have to say Delta Wave is what did Captain Pike in Star Trek The Menagerie, so he's going to turn all humans into things in wheelchairs that can only blink once or twice, so, Daleks.
And I thought that wheelchairs in the future would look a little better, but
Yeah, really. I don't understand why the dogs don't just blow up this station. Why don't they just blow it up? Why are they trying
They're
to
far
infiltrate-
away. They're at the
But
end of
when
the
they
solar
get there,
system.
when they get there, why don't
Well,
they
they're
just-
blowing up the planet.
but they make a whole point to infiltrate the station.
They're getting the Doctor.
the Doctor, yeah.
Just blow it up.
But they can't blow up where the Doctor is because Jack takes the extrapolator out of the TARDIS and hooks it up into the ship, creating a force field bubble for the first
Gotcha.
top
The-
6 levels.
And the
All right.
extrapolator is
I think
blue.
Jack even says they can't.
Yes.
I think Jack even says they can't blow up the station because of that. I mean, I think he actually says that.
Okay. Okay, so Jack and Linda with a Y and 3 other station workers go to the people on the bottom level in an attempt to recruit and help hold back the Daleks from the upper floors. Jack tells those remaining behind to stay quiet, and with his small army travels up to floor 494 to make a stand against the impending Dalek attack. Right, but right before this, Jack says his sort of goodbyes to Rose and the Doctor. And on the kiss that he gives both of them, he wanted to make it the same, like emotional wise, not sexual.
Who did the actor?
Yeah, John Barrowman. He said that on the commentary. He wanted to kiss them the exact same way,
I could see that.
and I think that's
he
great.
did.
But he
It
does
did
kiss
work.
the
No, yeah,
Doesn't
it
it?
works.
yeah, he does kiss the Doctor a little longer.
Just
yeah,
a
the
little
Doctor
longer.
gets a little longer one.
Well,
He's
he is
been-
the Doctor.
But he's a doctor.
Well, he's also older.
So he can feel it better. That's
But they were more emotional
Yeah.
goodbye kisses, which was really,
But
I think he did done
equally,
really well.
Yeah, and I like that. That's a great choice.
And
Was
then,
that the Doctor's first kiss ever?
900 years.
Even in the classic series, because he never kissed a companion.
That I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't have an answer.
yeah,
for
because there was no sexual tension between
At
the
all.
Doctor and
This is
any
the first
companion.
time,
This is the
yeah.
first time.
yeah, so they're thinking the Daleks would infiltrate at floor 494. So
Mhm.
maybe they got 495. Doctor said, or Jack later on said, no, I like 495. So they went up actually to 495 to set up their barrier.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that. I wrote
No,
that.
he says that because he likes 495 because Android is there.
is there? That's the set of the
and he's
link.
Yeah, it's like I like 49. I like
But
my
they were
setup
coming in
there.
at 494, so they went
Yeah.
up to the one
Yeah.
level.
Yeah,
as the
and
Daleks
and then they were above that.
were coming in. Okay.
Jack and his team were above that.
Mhm.
His happy few.
He's happy few.
And Jack's speech was just depressing. I mean, it wasn't really a motivating, get everybody
Yeah.
riled up speech. It
St.
was just,
Crispin.
if you're not coming, well, listen to us die, and then you'll know you're wrong. It's just, no, it's like, you don't believe in Daleks, Fine, get a gun, come on up. There's nothing else different between this floor and that floor then. If you don't believe that they're coming.
Using guilt as a motivator.
And if you are believe that they're going to be coming, we need all the people we can. They're going to kill you anyway.
I also find it funny that the guns that they're just handing out to anybody are the same guns that they use in the Dalek episode. They're G36s, so they're old guns. Like, this is the future. Shouldn't they have lasers?
They said they had bastic bullets, but I don't know what that is. Were they reference that in other...
No.
Brian is making a face at me, for those of you who can't see.
Yes, here's the gun etiquette again.
Which is all of us.
Just wait until he starts talking about Captain Jack's gun. He goes on and on.
Go ahead.
I have a question, though. So, someone mentioned guilt as a motivator. Do you think a lot of this is just doing religious commentary as well? So he's saying faith is
could be
like crazy. Guilt as a motivator doesn't work because you just stay down there. You're not going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I to go along with what you're saying, not to interrupt you. I don't. If you want to finish your
no, go ahead.
Saying, but like, I have another thing that I was going to bring up later, that the Daleks invading the Earth and wiping out, what was there, is just like the colonization of Western civilization into the States. The English came and wiped out the Native Americans, and it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that going on in this episode.
I really feel that there is a religious commentary going on within this.
I think there is too. And the more I watch it, the more I see it.
Yeah,
but
plus...
but guilt, you're talking about guilt. That only works on Catholics and Jews.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You don't know.
I guess we're in good company.
Well, I always used to say that Catholic guilt is based on fear and Jewish guilt is based on guilt.
And the Emperor does mention, he does
he's
say,
God.
I'm God, and if I'm God, creator of life, meaning the Daleks, what are you? And he's where the Doctor is going to destroy all life.
There's definitely a religious...
And also the Dalek theme is a choir. I mean, that's true
it's
too,
a choir
right?
Singing. It sounds like a Gregorian chant.
Well, didn't you say in the last episode that they were saying in Hebrew?
Yeah. See, so there is
really. So it's the Jewish and the Christian combating here, and
Judeo-Christian.
That's some heavy duty guilt.
Yeah.
Did you make that up?
Judo chop.
No wonder they're insane.
It's a mixed marriage.
And in the end, whoever can
Sorry,
but whoever can, in this way, it's kind of putting the Doctor not as a god, but as a person who's willing to fight against the organization.
Yeah.
That
Antichrist?
I don't know about the Antichrist, but it's more like
a reformer
going into being agnostic. It's more like I am my own will. I am my own power. I say no, so it's a no.
Yeah.
So I think
a lot of the whole episode is him pointing out how wrong everything else is.
Yeah. And not saying what is right. He's just saying what's wrong.
Right.
Even at the end, when we'll see Rose does what she does for something good, he tells her, you shouldn't have done that. Nobody should have done anything, according to him.
You just leave the Earth, let it
go.
evolve on its own.
Like the Prime Directive.
We all know how well that works.
But I don't know. I never really thought of it. I mean, they had the obvious God references and things with the Dalek, but I never really thought of being a more undertone. It was more of society. Well, I think everybody goes along with what society has, and you have to be an individual and say no if it's not right, not just go along with it. The whole, jumping ahead a little bit, with Rose saying he showed a better way of life. He showed you don't give up, you fight for what is right, you fight for others who can't fight for themselves, you say no. And it's more of a society way of don't be so complacent. Not really not the religious fight, but more of just the complacency that we've all fallen into.
Yeah, well, Nietzsche said, religion is the opiate of the masses. So it's the whole religion is that thing that keeps us complacent.
Yeah.
So we have to fight beyond religion, not just the bounds of religion
as
that
a structure,
make us,
but as a
that keeps
entity.
That keeps us organized.
Which is the episode where the Doctor meets Nietzsche. And pronounces it, Nietzsche.
I think it's when they went to Japan. What is he doing
in
Japan?
Kyoto?
I don't know.
Waiting for Godot.
Well, even if there wasn't a specific agenda, I think those themes that we're talking about are just prevalent in life and story and religion. It's just things that happen all
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And
But it
just
could also be
connects.
talking about not religion per se, but cult.
Yeah.
You know, where it is like, you know, you get a cult leader that's charismatic, and boy, that Dalek Emperor is charismatic.
He oozes it.
Yeah. But you know, he's a cult leader, so he inspires fanatical
You
worship
can't be
from his
that
followers.
charismatic if you can't wink.
So, because this was 2000,
2005.
When was all the
Oh, which one?
cult
Well, that was earlier. Like
earlier?
like
That's true. That was in the
something
Clinton
Harvest.
years.
What was the one with the Kool-Aid?
That was in the late 90s.
What was it called?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. I was thinking Blue Harvest, and we all know that one.
And by a guy called Applewhite. I mean, if you're going to follow a guy called that, I don't
Yeah,
know. That's
right.
weird.
Yeah, your days are numbered.
I wanted to point out that the practical Dalek for the Dalek Emperor is the same one used in the episode Dalek. They just repurposed that practical and then redid it a little bit for this one.
It's so weird. I mean, it's so cheesy looking, but it works. You
Yeah.
totally buy it. At least I do. I don't know why.
It's because the story's so good.
Yeah.
I can forgive so many bad special
absolutely.
effects if
And
the
in a
story's
way,
good.
it's good puppetry. Like, it was simple what they were doing, but they did it in a way and that it just, it's good. You know, less is more. I'm saying.
Or for me, you find it so gross that you don't really want to look at it that long. So you're just kind of looking at it, like, you know,
Like it looks
still on the
mucusy?
peripheral. You're like,
Yeah, that's why I said oozing.
yeah, it's gross. It's
Charisma.
like, I think we discussed on an earlier podcast. What is it? It's like a brain with. Right, remember we were like
Yeah.
we
In
deconstructed.
But in Dalek, you can see it more as a
Face.
human-like face.
Well,
Yeah.
Just off to the side a bit. I didn't see that before, but
this one you definitely see it has more of a Darth Vader grill. If you notice that thing.
I didn't
And a-
notice because I don't stare at it that long.
and a way bigger brain.
Yeah, well, they had to make it a
Yeah.
little different. But the Dalek that they blow up inside the TARDIS looks completely different from the Emperor Dalek. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I didn't notice.
Yeah,
It's
Because
smaller.
he was human.
it looks like it has the two eyes more prominent.
Oh, it did. Yes.
Yeah,
Now I remember.
Where the Emperor Dalek has that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, just saying. Rose and the Doctor are still working on the Delta Wave when Rose asks, "Why can't they go back in time and warn the station about the Daleks?" The Doctor tells her, once he is at a point in time, he is part of events. He was glad that Rose's question was about wanting to help rather than running away. And I like that he says, you could ask, but you didn't.
To leave.
Yeah, to leave, to
Why
run
is
away.
that? Why is that surprising? Like Rose has always been the one to stay and help, and I don't understand why that's.
But I
Surprising.
like that he's taking time to point out that she
Pointing
did
it
it.
out. It's funny.
Because he, you know what?
He
I
knows
think,
this is a hopeless case.
Yes.
Is what I get.
Yes, because even earlier when Jack is splitting up the assignments on what people do,
Or when people die.
or when yes, that's
I
exactly
know.
what he's
You
doing.
think
Is
he
when
knew?
people
You
die.
think he knew that
I was gonna
Because
ask
if you
that,
watch it again, and when he does it all, Jack is saying, "Do this, do this, do this." The Doctor's already working, and the Doctor goes, "Rose, come and help me." He calls her away from that immediately. Mm-hmm. So he already knows this is hopeless. We're going to still try. We might succeed. That happens to me a lot. But I'm going to, if Rose goes down, she's dead. So I'm going to keep her
her
with
close.
me. I'm keeping her close immediately.
Yeah, because
And then-
Jack was like, he told everyone else, "I'm going to give you these guns that are going to blast through the
Jack's
Daleks,"
gotta
but
know
that
that's not going to do anything.
that didn't happen on the first floor.
Because they were the
So-
cowards.
Just and that well, the woman cries. We haven't gotten to it yet, but the woman cries out, "You lied!"
Yeah,
And he did.
and which I think he did. They were just.
I'm not sure. I think he did think that they were going to work.
Really?
I
I
don't think
know.
so.
I don't think so. I think they.
He
Because
made-
remember,
he made a
these
hard
are
choice.
myths. For his point of view, he still said the Daleks
Even
were
him?
myths.
Even him?
Jack did.
Yeah.
No, this is the Doctor.
But
The
then-
Doctor
no, we're talking
said-
about Jack.
No,
though.
Jack said the
talking about
ballistic.
Jack, aren't we?
So not the ballistic, the bastic
Oh, yeah, right.
bullets.
Oh,
So
you
I
may
think
be
he did
completely
believe
right.
it from part of the mythology.
Okay.
And at one point, it might work if it was concentrated more on the
Well, yeah,
eye
because they
stalk,
did
but-
blow up that one.
Yeah, it blinded that one, so
but
it did work.
I think they have evolved a little bit more from that, or had other
They had-
information. I don't think it was an out and out lie. It was like
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
'cause-
you're right.
it's like well,
From
it might
Jack.
work.
It's like
Well, let's tell
Jack.
them it will because it could work, rather than out.
But they had a force field. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Daleks? Yeah.
Like,
Which they had it in the other episode
Dalek.
with Van Staten.
Yeah.
right, but Jack wasn't there.
Also, my thing is, Rose says, "Can't you just go back a week before the station and warn them?" I so want the Doctor to turn to her and go, "Gee, Rose, do you want the Reapers back?
Yeah.
We lived through this. You saw what happens
When there's two of us.
when you cross the timeline. It's like, you're
not thinking.
well, it's like, everybody got eaten and your father had to die again."
Yeah.
But that was a whole different situation of why the Reapers came in Father's Day.
But it was still...
But it's still the same
still
basic
could
question. I
happen.
agree with you.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
and you have to get around it. Otherwise, most of the stories are not going to happen. You can't
Right, we're gonna have
just
a
go back
you
and
do have a
change
nice...
everything every
You
time.
have a great little scene between the two of them because of that question.
That's
But-
true, too.
But I like that. You land somewhere, you are now part of the events. That's
Yeah.
something a lot of other time travel shows
Ignore.
They also go with part of it. It's like,
Okay.
you're here
That's
now.
basically
You
the
have to
other-
deal with what's going on here because things are changing here. So anything after this is in flux. You can go to a different future.
Yeah.
It's the whole Back to the Future, Marty's,
Alternate timeline.
alternate
Yeah.
timelines and things going, wait a minute. So once you're there, you have to work and fix that.
Unless you go with the quantum leap theory.
True.
That's
no,
a ball of
work for that.
string.
Right.
The machine is ready, meaning the Delta Wave machine, but needs to power up, which will not happen in time. The Doctor has an idea and excitedly enters the TARDIS, followed by Rose. He tells her his idea could work, but she needs to hold onto part of the console, and he runs back outside of the TARDIS. Using the sonic screwdriver, he remotely activates the TARDIS and sends Rose back home and out of danger.
So sad. Especially when you know what's
yeah.
happening and, how he gets her into the TARDIS. You're just like, no.
He thinks of that very quickly, too. I noticed when I watched this.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he realizes it doesn't work, he just gets her out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Very heroically.
It's really when I first watched this, I was just like, "What is going on here? Why is he stopping?" And then he does what he does, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so."
And when you know at the moment he turns,
Yeah,
you can see it
And
on
it's-
his face.
It's great acting by Eccleston, and great, like a twist almost, but not really.
And great ignorance by Rose.
Yeah,
But I think he actually did it this time because he already watched her die once.
oh yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
think he would have done it if that hadn't happened.
absolutely.
Good
He
point.
would have been like, okay, well, we're in this. Let's get through it. But he remembered what it felt like
When was that?
she
I'm
died.
drawing a blank.
Daleks.
When she died in the game of Weakest Link.
I was gonna say Dalek
Oh,
too.
right.
Also, so this is the third time, maybe.
Yeah. So, but,
But he really saw her die.
That's right.
and he was like, he
yeah.
was crushed.
Yeah.
And he made that promise to Jackie, so he's like, "This is it or never."
Yeah.
It's
Like,
great.
I
It's a great
really
moment.
have
I just
failed.
really, I feel in that moment every time I watch it. It's really good. And then we get to this next part where, as Rose unsuccessfully tries to exit the TARDIS, a recording of the Doctor appears and tells her there is no way for him to survive. And this is the only way to keep her safe and the TARDIS out of enemy hands. She arrives back home and Mickey comes running up, having heard the TARDIS. She wants to return to the future, but nothing she tries will make the TARDIS work.
The emergency program. That's the greatest thing.
It's really good.
It's a fake.
It's so great.
No.
To me, it's a fake.
No, and then when he turns and looks at her
Then he
because he
looks at
knows that she's standing there.
But do you know why that's so effective?
Why?
Because he looks at us.
Well, okay, so the thing, it's a hologram like via Star Wars. It's very jittery and like not,
It's a recording.
yeah, it's a recording. And the voice is treated as a hologram.
Yeah, that's
And then when he turns to Rose, it's not treated. So it has that oomph that hits you every time.
It doesn't have the static.
Yeah, it doesn't have that staticky jitteriness. And then,
Oh, wow. It
so
doesn't.
that's why that works. It's very effective.
Well, it's a whole combination of everything. And he looks at her. It's the sound. It's the close up.
I mean, this is
Oh,
obviously
yeah, sure.
only my point of view, but I don't think it was a recording. I think he was using the sonic
sonic?
screwdriver to project himself into the TARDIS because he's done things like that. Well, or will do things like that.
Yeah.
Time travel, where he's doing it to talk to her because I don't see him having that program set up. He never did with any other companions. I don't see that being something that he would have initiated.
That's a
So I
good
think he is
theory.
programming that and going, I'm not going to talk to her. Just tell her what's going on. Don't give her a chance to respond. Looking forward. And then at the last minute, have a good life. And he has to tell it to her. And so that's why he turns.
Yeah.
That's a real good theory. I like that.
I like that too.
No, sorry, I like it.
Again, it seems like I'm the only one at the table who says this is a fake. He's got to be, so
I think
that
it works both
connecting.
ways. It's good enough that it works both ways, and that's what I like about it. And so if you never thought about it, that's why that, to me, that's effective, like production-wise.
I agree, it works both ways, but
Yeah.
I just saw when I was looking at it.
Yes. Understood. And then we also get Rose's theme, which I know Frank really is a fan of. I think that also sells that moment. And when the TARDIS lands back in Rose's present day, it's the same street that they landed on in Father's Day. And I think that's also...
Isn't that where they always land, though, in between those tenement buildings?
Not
Different spots.
Different spots, but that is the
This one looks like it's the
street
same one where the car where Pete initially
got
died.
hit,
It's probably the location they have permits for.
probably.
Okay.
Well, thanks,
okay.
Buzzkill. Those emotional tie to that area.
I'm gonna climb across this table
too.
and slap you.
There's a table here?
No, and just I think I don't like Rose's theme because every time they play it, she's like crying.
It's beautiful melancholy.
That's what it's true. It's melancholy, and it gives you that sense of wanting, like sort of. It's not quite the same, but that moment of Luke looking at the two sons of Tatooine. It's
Yes,
got that
it is very much
moment.
like that.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
It's a Buffy angel kind of thing. There's some kind of melancholy
two
to
that
it.
bothered me too. Like, pick out those people in time. They're like annoying.
And also,
Buffy's crying, and Angel is looking longingly at her from across the room.
Yes.
We can never be together.
and I also like that Rose's theme could sound like a music box. It could be like translated into a music box, and you'd still recognize it. It's that simple.
Like a tune.
Yeah.
I do love Clara's theme as well.
Like written
Clara.
music.
Yeah.
That one I really like.
I do like Claire's theme. I just don't like. Never mind.
Well, that kind of past
We'll
stuff
get there.
was on mine. When they got to Clara's, it's like, okay, this is my new
Yeah.
favorite. But
But anyway, the Emperor reestablishes contact with the Doctor and Jack.
Very good that we don't have video going right now.
The Doctor confirms that the Delta Wave cannot be focused like we... Never mind.
That we are not right now?
And will destroy all humanity on Earth. The Emperor asks if the Doctor is really willing to destroy himself and the entire human race along with the Daleks. The Doctor says human colonies exist and they will continue to survive. All life everywhere is threatened if the Daleks are allowed to live. Before he dies, the Doctor wants to know one thing. Why did the Emperor use Bad Wolf, and what does it mean? The Emperor said it wasn't part of his design.
Is it in here that Jack says about the Doctor? I never doubted him. I never will.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that's a great little
great-
moment.
yes.
It's one of the funny things, though. It's like Jack. Well, I guess I'm answering my own argument in my head. Jack hasn't been around that long, but he's kind of been around for half the season. So I guess it is. He has earned that
Enough.
and earned it enough to say I've never doubted the Doctor and I never will.
Well, we also kind of get the feeling in the last few episodes that there's a bunch of
more
stuff
things
that's
have
been
gone.
happening outside
Absolutely.
of the screen time.
It's probably why his hair was able to grow.
There you go.
What I thought was
Jack's
interesting is if the Doctor did the Delta Wave, it would leave the planet more intact because it just destroys all brain matter. So the planet would be more intact than what the Daleks are doing.
So they
which
could
is they're destroying
recolonize
it.
Earth, sort of.
They just give it a clean slate. I don't know if it's a brain matter, so I guess a lot of the animals and humans would go, but
A lot of?
no, all the animals and humans. But I think it's like it would still leave, plants and still leave
Bacteria,
a planet that could have
sustain
life on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gonna be another cool show.
Who knows? Back on 21st century Earth, Rose tells Mickey and Jackie that she can't go back to normal life. Being with the Doctor has taught her a better way of living. Mickey tries to convince her to give up when Rose notices Bad Wolf signs all around her. There's even one in the poster at the diner. It's right behind her. I don't know if anybody
I
caught
missed that
one.
I didn't notice
Yeah.
that one.
It's like somebody wrote on it, the back of the poster. She realizes it's a message connecting the present with the future, meaning there is a way back to the Doctor. She tells Mickey that the TARDIS is telepathic and alive. If they can open the heart of the TARDIS, she can tell it to take her to the Doctor. Mickey tries using a chain attached to his car to pull off the console's door, but it doesn't work.
Right.
Yes.
Back to there's a lot of stuff going on in the conversations that Rose is having with Mickey and Jackie too, like, you know, commentary, whatever, even on people. About one thing that Jackie says is that her dad was full of mad ideas. Oh, that whole thing about when Rose tells Jackie that she met her father, and that freaks out Jackie. But before that, Jackie was saying how he was full of mad ideas, and as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, just like the Doctor. So it's like Pete and the Doctor are kind of have the same type of personality.
Yeah.
And then also when she was yelling at her right before Jackie runs off to do what she's going to do next.
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, he knows.
Well,
he stopped himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just saying.
Right before Jackie did, you know, Rose's whole argument, you know, when Rose gets emotional, she wants to act and she wants to do something, and them going back and forth, and Jackie was just saying, you should stay here, you should leave, and I was thinking that there's just like, it's showing there's two types of people in this instance, when emotions make you act or emotions make you run, and that's the difference between Jackie and Rose. And then the next scene, she does what she did.
Yeah.
In the diner, I liked the conversation they were having where Jackie's saying, that's 200,000 years in the future. We still have time. And Rose is, no, it's happening now, where the present and the future is running concurrently, which ties in to the whole bad wolf. It's happening now and it's happening then. So there already is that little connection coming from Jackie.
And right in that moment, too, I had a thought, like, because Jackie was saying he sent you back. And I thought a moment, so did he send her back to come back? Like, did he send her back to be safe, or did he actually, his plan was to send her back because she's going to figure it out and then save everybody?
No, just keep her safe.
Yeah, he doesn't know what the bad wolf is.
Yeah, at this point he doesn't.
I know, but that's what I thought at that moment. Because the Doctor's always one step ahead of us.
Or 20.
Right.
It's interesting, that conversation in the diner, because it's, for me, I mean, I think I've said this before, Rosa is not my favorite companion, and I know people love her. And the part of the problem I have with Rose is on display in that scene. It's a great scene, and she tries to convey a kind of, you know, that Rose has changed. She's not the same person, and all that's good. And she tries to explain that other people won't understand, and that's good too. You know, it's almost like she's describing it like they would say about, you know, people who were in World War I, and they would come back and no one could understand what they went through except for another person who was in what they did. Yeah. You know, kind of that band of brother kind of mentality, which is very real. She tries to explain that, but then she gets really angry and kicks or pushes the table, and she reacts really kind of childish like, and that's what Rose, that pops up a lot in Rose. And I know that Rose is a young character, but there is a part of me that's just like, stop it. So this scene it's a really good scene. I like it, but then there's always that part of me that just kind of like cringes, going, oh, don't be such a baby, you know. And you can kind of understand Mickey,
his frustration.
He's so frustrated with her. What am I supposed to do? You know, but what that means as well is that Rose is a complex character. She's very complicated. She's got a lot of layers to her. So that's a good thing. Unfortunately, part of those layers annoy me a lot.
Understood.
Agree.
I knew I'd have one person.
And I like Rose, and yes, I think that does show a bit of that she is more immature, but she just needs a little more time to grow. And I think if the Doctor would have found her at a later date, it would have been a different reaction.
I agree.
But right now, she's at that point where she knows she can do something. There's got to be something. She's grown to that point, but not to the next step of what is that something.
Right.
You know.
And don't get me wrong, I think it's great writing. I think what Rose does in that scene is very true.
Right. Okay.
You know, it is very much what a person, in this case Rose, would do. To me, it doesn't make her the best companion ever, though. You know, it just, it's like, okay, you are really young at times and you do annoying things to me that I think is what I'm saying.
Well, another thing to kind of back that up, I guess, was when she's in the TARDIS and Mickey's telling her, if you go to the future, if you find a way to make this work, you're going to die. And she goes, I don't care. There's nothing left for me here. Standing right there.
Yeah.
And she just slaps him in the face with that.
And he's like,
going,
no.
There's nothing for me. Nothing.
Well, then he does what he said he was going to do in the other episode, where I'll always be. You'll come calling,
and he's going to help her. But I mean, that is that immaturity of Rose in that she dismisses him and dismisses her mother.
Yeah.
And
Wow, Mickey is the male Martha.
And maybe that's why Rose is so popular, because they're gravitating toward the younger viewers.
Yeah.
Who can relate to.
Again, what she does is realistic. What she I'm a lot older than Rose. I would probably be doing. I probably would have thrown the table out the window. I'd be so frustrated.
I stopped breaking things when I got angry in my 30s.
Yeah, but it is just kind of like, okay, it just there's a part of me that is just kind of like, oh, I just want to just shake her.
Which again then makes me feel kind of icky, because she is a 19-year-old girl with an old man. Like, how old is the
She's
doctor?
at least 20 by now.
But the doctor's
20,
like,
21.
How old is he?
900.
How many other 900? How many other 900-year-olds are you going to run across?
I run across
it's
two.
Like, there's like
Still legal.
It is.
my high school students, when they're dating someone in their late 20s, I think it's icky. So
Because that's the real world, and it is icky.
This is yes, the real world and this.
But then when the doctor's
fantasy is
1,000,
different.
she'll be like 119.
Yeah, that's true. It's much better then.
it's like not even something you can think about.
But I think we're missing the big point here. What happened to Mickey's yellow VW Bug? He has a green Mini Cooper.
I know, yeah.
When did he get that?
That's probably what they had the permit for.
The VW probably said, you can't use that to fail.
Yeah.
Well, what year was it? 2000? Was it 2005? When
Yeah.
did those when was that resurgence of Mini Cooper?
It could be.
That was
But
a classic Mini Cooper, though, not the new one.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to start talking about guns again.
They're like, we don't want German cars here. It's just
Yeah.
Nine. So back in the future, Jack has left Linda with a Y in the fortified Outlook to relay tactical information about the Dalek positions within the station. She reports that the Daleks have entered the station, but instead of heading up like they thought, the Daleks...
Instead of heading down, they head up.
No, they wanted to go up to floor 500.
They thought
Right
the
away.
Daleks were going to go up. The Daleks don't go up. They go,
They go
down.
down to the lower levels.
It's okay. Smile and nod.
So the numbers go... No,
Yeah.
The top of the station is
floor
500.
0 is the bottom of the station. And
Okay.
floor 500 is the top. Which Frank was just saying, and I
Gotcha.
interrupted him.
The Daleks
he
descend
doesn't
to the lower floors and start killing the unarmed humans, including Roderick. They proceed back up to the top
before
floor.
you go, I just have to say, there
right.
needs to be a moment of silence for Roderick.
No, there doesn't.
Because is this man not the most annoying person of the season? He surpasses Adam. I would take an entire show based around Adam.
We are all pondering that right now.
Oh, this guy is the worst.
We only-
my money. But I won.
He only had like a combination of like 6 or 7 words just rearranged into different sentences.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He knew how to play the game, though. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. But God,
Yeah.
it just drives me crazy.
You know what? He was probably written as a total representation of something.
Society.
Yeah.
Some member, you're like, I want my money, but I'm important. It was almost
Me,
like
me.
Yeah, like the whole episode's written too well for that character to be written so poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably a definite
Commentary. Absolutely. So the Daleks proceed back up to the top floors where Jack and the others attempt to slow them down. The others are killed and Jack runs out of ammunition. With his back against the wall, the Daleks exterminate Jack. Another group of Daleks approach from space and blow the observation wall of Linda's room, killing her.
Did you notice how it blinked the lights when they were outside?
Exterminate.
Yeah.
Exterminate.
And
I love how you can see that without words.
And also, I have a question. Like they set traps on the various levels, right? So
It reminds me of Aliens.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jack says, "Oh, they're at 495 or something."
Yeah.
I like 495,
Yeah.
and it's the android,
That's right.
right? So Anne, as you are the weakest link, and blows them up, and then the Daleks,
Keep
just
going.
yeah. Well, they blow her up.
Yeah.
My question is, wouldn't there be like 50 androids on this station, not just one?
Why?
Because
of all the different games. There's
40 big brothers.
60 Big Brothers.
60 big
How
brothers.
did we know that?
Linda told us in the last episode.
Okay.
With a Y.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot more androids out there.
Well, then also, too,
I mean,
like,
they're not going to do it because this is the script,
Yeah.
and, but still, it's like when I was just thinking about it, going, have an android like every 10 feet.
well, that's
They
just
just didn't have the budget.
No, they didn't.
Well, maybe there was, and we just this is the
Didn't see
last one that we saw. This is the last Anne.
It's kind of geek logic too, because my thinking was like, why are there? She takes a couple of them out, but there's like a million of them. It's like why are there only like a half dozen Daleks that we see going through the thing when they're all, they have so many?
Well, also
Worst plot hole ever.
Well, also she gets 3 rounds before she has to reload and say, "You are the weakest link."
Yes.
So there's that moment where they can get her.
I love that she doesn't have an actual disintegrator beam. She's just transmitting them back to space.
I never thought of that.
I just visualize these Daleks floating around in space.
And then
What
the
are you
same
gonna do
3
now?
come in and kill her. Oh, that's funny.
So Jack dies.
Yeah, Jack dies.
It's very disappointing. I'm upset.
Sad? You're sad?
I'm sad.
It's almost like that, a lack of buildup. It's just, yeah, that's what I thought. He's going to kill me. Boom, he's dead.
Well,
It's just sort of ended. What do you mean he's dead?
Well, I think it's great because he says, or they say exterminate, and he goes, "Yeah, I kind of figured that."
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
No, it's yeah.
And the effect, like,
But he's dead.
it looks like they had a cable tied to him and they pulled it, yanked him back. It looked really good
Yeah.
Yeah.
when he got shot.
But Linda is like,
Linda's was great.
they're trying to break into the main door, and then she realizes behind her. I don't know how. I don't know if she saw a shadow or what.
Yeah.
Turns around and they're coming up. It's like, do they actually kill her? Or is it just the vacuum of space that kills her?
That's just how
Vacuum
they
in space,
chose
I
to
think.
kill
It's
her.
like, oh.
I think they would have shot her had they the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
They just knew if they broke.
but
the
also
glass.
she's reporting about what they're doing on Earth.
So they need to get her out of the way.
Well, no.
Oh,
my point
wait.
is like we're finding out what's happening on Earth, and they're blowing an entire continent. They blow up
Right.
Europa,
yeah.
Pacifica,
Yeah.
okay, Australia. I think they said North America.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing this in 4 shots. They've done 4 continents. To me, it's like, doesn't that make the Doctor's decision a little easier? Because I'm going to kill everybody on the planet. Well, they're going to be
They're
dead
already
in 2
killing them
minutes
anyway.
anyway.
The planet's going to be gone.
Yeah. And I mean, I know emotionally,
We want.
it's still, if I had to make that choice, it still would be me doing the action of killing them rather than watching somebody else do it. But still, it's like, okay, well, the planet's gone anyway.
True. Okay. Jackie tries to convince Rose to give up. Rose tells her that she can't. Her father wouldn't have given up, and she knows this because she met him. She tells her mother that they went back in time, and she was the woman Jackie saw all those years ago holding Pete's hand when he died. Jackie is overcome with emotion and runs away. Later, she returns with a large truck big enough to pull off the console door. Rose telling Rose that this is the sort of thing her father would do. The plan works, and Rose looks directly into the heart of the TARDIS. The doors of the TARDIS slam shut, leaving Jackie and Mickey outside as it disappears.
Yay.
I
We
mean,
tested that a bit already. A little
Yes, we
scene
did.
between Rose and Jackie.
yeah, and I think it's really great how Jackie is almost... It's a switch where you think she's running away, she can't deal with this emotion, but she comes back to,
Yeah.
like, save the day at the
And that's
night.
what
But I think she is running away because she can't deal
At
with
the
the
moment,
emotion.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the moment, and
Yeah.
then she calms down and realizes Rodrigo needs.
Or
Something.
she needs a favor.
She's
to read
something
owes a
off the
favor.
screen.
Yeah.
I love how that's just a throwaway line.
I'm very Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. The Delta Wave is ready just as the Daleks reach the Doctor. The Emperor taunts the Doctor, telling him to do it. Destroy us all. He asks if the Doctor is a coward or a killer. The Doctor decides he can't kill an entire race again. The TARDIS appears and Rose steps out. She has merged with the time vortex of the TARDIS.
What do you think about that coward moment?
He picks coward.
Yeah,
Every
it doesn't
day.
seem
No, I like it.
I
genuine.
like it.
It does to me, because of what he is now. Because this comes at the end of this season, and from what we've learned that happened before the season and his progression through this season, I think he's reached that point now where he's like, I'm not going to do it again. I can't do it again.
He doesn't say that.
But he's changed because of Rose.
But he does
We've seen
say
it through.
that.
I mean, at the beginning, way back at the beginning of the season, he would have killed him, no problem.
Yeah.
Even back with Cassandra and all that, he would have.
Yeah.
And it's like at times, going all the way through it, she's restrained him, reopened his view of life. I mean, I think the Dalek episode was very pivotal in because he had the gun, was going to kill the Dalek, and she's saying, "Look at yourself, what you've become." That I think was the main pivotal moment. And so it's just, I buy it. I think, I'm not going to be that anymore. This is what I want. And he's ready to die. He's like, I've lived 900 years. I'm not going to live on your terms. I'm not going to do something that's going to be against me again. I've done that with the Time War. I've turned against what I thought was right just to try and do the right thing. And it's like, I can't do it again. No.
I think that's the intent, but there's something about that moment that bugs me. I don't know if it was the way it was shot, the way it was acted, the way it was written. Like, I think you're right, and I think that was what they planned, but something about that moment just didn't ring true for me.
For me, I agree in part with that, because I think the way he said cower all the time, I'll choose that all the time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have earlier on in the season. Yeah. So that's where that
Disconnect
kind of
it felt like he was
to
trying
me,
to
it feels like
somewhere.
he's horribly ashamed of what he did. So he's like, I pick coward, and I'm going to do that every time. He's completely rejecting what he was before. He's saying, nope, every single time I'm confronted with this, I'm going to be a coward.
But he's not really picking coward. It's like those are the two choices,
Right.
coward or killer.
No.
And he's going
Coward
not
is
a killer.
not killer.
Not a killer.
Yes, completely agree. Coward is a code word.
So in a way, it's
Coward's
sort of
a code
even
word.
with the it's like, I'm not going to shoot a gun. I'm not going to.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not.
All right.
just-
So I was
It's not.
focusing more.
He's not a coward.
On the words.
I was focusing more on he was saying I'll be a coward, not I won't be a killer.
No, he's because that's what the Emperor says to him. You have these two choices, and he's like coward.
All right, I got you.
Yeah, and it is, and inside the word coward is all that.
Ward.
And ward.
Ward.
And ward is it good for?
The word is in the middle of
Absolutely nothing.
Say it again.
Absolutely nothing. But that's what. But I mean, you get what I mean. Like, there's so much packed into that one word.
Yeah.
And again, he wouldn't have done that in
Right. Well, now-
in
now-
the episode Rose.
He would not.
He might have said it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have meant it.
No, when I play the
Now he
moment
means
back now, thinking of it that way,
it's not the word.
It feels better.
Yeah.
I approve.
The doctor begs Rose to stop doing what she's doing because she has the time vortex in her. This will kill her. She says she has to keep her doctor safe.
Can I interject before you keep going? Because I got something before that happens.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So the Emperor, is he the Emperor? Is that what he's
Emperor Dalek?
He calls her the Abomination, not an abomination. And I was wondering if there was anything behind that.
I don't. I always wonder on that.
It hasn't been revisited.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it is just one of those religious catchphrases.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, it's also something like it calls.
It does call for something.
It's not a grammatical accident. They don't do that on this show. Like there's a.
No, I agree. There is something specific behind that. We've just never been told it. And at this point, we probably never will.
She's the woman of revelation that brings down the church. And that's why she is the abomination. I'm just saying another religious connection.
There you go.
We're doing some deep cuts right now.
I think Arlene just thinks Rose is an abomination. No, but that's probably it. Because these whole two episodes are rife with
Religious iconography or something.
Women.
I know. We're horrible. Remember that.
So I'm gonna back up a little bit. The TARDIS reappears and Rose steps out. She has merged with the time vortex of the TARDIS. She is Bad Wolf and sends those words throughout time as a message to lead herself here. The doctor begs Rose to stop. This will kill her.
Yeah, that was a little important thing to mention.
She says that she has to keep her doctor safe. She raises her arm
that
and
part
destroys.
Made me cry.
Yeah.
Aww.
And she starts to destroy the entire Dalek race. Everything dies. The time war ends. She brings death, but also brings life. At that moment, Jack comes back from the dead. Rose begins to die from the energy inside her, but can't let go. The doctor kisses her, drawing the vortex into himself. He releases releases it back into the TARDIS and carries Rose inside.
Now, I get that she sent the words back through time as a signal for them to follow. But in every instance of referencing Bad Wolf that we've seen, they've never made a point to see it and follow it.
They're not following anything, though. It's just
there.
It's an awareness. This is weird. It's happening over and over and over and over.
So
again.
that moment in the parking lot.
There's nothing to follow.
That's why she noticed.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
to create the link between the past and the future.
It's not. Times
they
are
weren't
actually.
they weren't breadcrumbs.
No, they were not specific breadcrumbs.
Then I get it.
And I'm wondering if Bad Wolf was what the Daleks used for that corporation, and that's where she got the name.
Yeah.
And it's like at that point,
That's where it began.
Right. Well, I
Bad
take
Wolf
it as when
to
she
that.
says, "I took the words Bad Wolf and spread." I think she just
Yep.
did it right. That when we saw her do it, that's when it happened.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
But there are other
Yes.
theories that she created
Bad Wolf.
the Bad Wolf Corporation as part of that. To be, that's the anchor part.
I think
But
that
I
was
think,
the-
yeah.
Either way, it's
Origin.
cool, but
Yeah.
I like.
I think they were just two random words that she saw, and boom, it
Right.
became important.
Right.
It's because she's afraid of the big bad wolf.
All right.
Well,
Gwendolyn.
at the very end of the series, we'll find out that Bad Wolf is a sled.
Throw it in the fire.
But that's a great. I mean, it's really emotional. The doctor is so worried about Rose, and she's saying, "I like how she says I can't stop,"
Yeah.
because it's like she could. I mean, not could, but she wants to, but can't. And
Yeah.
so it takes the doctor to draw it out of her. She doesn't have the ability to put it back in the TARDIS,
Yeah, it's also
and I don't think she wants to.
and
It's like a drug.
It's also one of those she's not emotionally mature yet, maybe. And this could be part of that, where she has this power, but she doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't know how to control it, really.
And at least she knows how to
I think
release it.
I think it's almost. I think it's more of a physical thing. She's this puny human
Right.
that can't contain.
Yes,
That energy.
Yeah, but she does also. I mean, she is kind of like enjoying it. I see all of life. I see all of it.
And he's like, that's how I see every day.
And I think that's
Also,
why
you-
he finally kisses her, because it's like they're equals now.
Yeah.
She's like a Time Lord. It's like she sees everything like he does, so it's not weird anymore. And it's like, I can kiss you. We're the same.
I just took it that he kissed her to take the energy from her.
No, I could have touched her and got the energy, but he's like, no.
What a different episode that would have been. He's like, give me your pinky.
Pinky promise?
Yes.
Yay.
But Arlene, it could also be that she couldn't, stop, and she was going to die because she's a girl.
Oh.
Do you want to take that back?
No, I want to see Arlene's reaction.
Well, what about the line? I have to ask. Rose, I think you need a doctor.
Yeah,
That's a great line.
great.
I liked it the first time I saw it. Now it just seems so corny.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I think it's fine.
It made me think of all those other times, even these episodes where he's goofy. He puts on a stupid smile. He's making a stupid joke like I do.
I think it depends on my mood when I'm watching it. Whether I like it or
Yeah,
whether
this last time it was like, really?
cringe.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those moments where, like in a horror movie, you have time to breathe, and then you get like a one-liner or a pun. It's sort of like that. It's,
Yes.
It's giving
And
you
the
this
first
emotion,
time-
and then
Yes.
you have this time to kind of,
Yeah.
it's not so bad. So as they leave in the TARDIS, Jack arrives just in time to see the TARDIS disappear.
Bummer timing, dude.
Yeah, he's left alone
So they
on the
still
station.
think he's dead. Right?
Yes. Well,
Well, Rose
shush.
does.
Yeah,
Well, Rose
did-
doesn't remember anything, though.
Yeah. What do you?
She doesn't remember.
That bugs me.
Spoilers.
Well, because
He's going to say it right now. Go ahead.
at that time we don't. I mean, Jack is dead for all that we know.
No, I mean it bugs me that she doesn't remember why. Well, I actually finish what you're doing.
Okay.
Finish what you're starting. Finish
We'll
finish
continue.
the summary.
Almost done, and then we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The doctor tells Rose that his cells are dying because of the vortex energy, but Time Lords can postpone death by regenerating every cell in their bodies. He will still be the doctor, but not the same. He tells her goodbye and transforms into the 10th incarnation of the Doctor.
Barcelona. Lovely little Faulty Towers reference.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's Faulty Towers reference. He's from Barcelona. Manuel.
Yeah, it bothers me that this happened to the Doctor, and now the next episodes and stuff, and she really has no idea why he did it.
She has bits of memory,
but
and it could come back when everything settles down.
I don't
She could
remember
more.
it well enough to know if it does come up, and she does.
I don't think they ever address it again.
To me,
Not
it's
from
just
Rose's point of
view. He obviously did it on purpose, and she knows that. Like, so she
Did what on purpose?
regenerated or killed him, this version of himself, for something, and she has no idea what happened.
Oh, no. Rose knows she has the time. In later episodes, she knows
does reference it?
she had the time vortex inside of her and used it.
So when is her lapse in memory?
Well, I think she's just in shock.
Oh, okay.
So as time passes, she's going to go, oh, yeah, that happened. They just don't make mention of that.
Okay.
But later on, she is kind of like, oh, yeah?
You're right. I do remember
you're that
now.
good? Guess what I did?
Right.
And she...
That's right. She does that.
Yeah.
Is that a Moffat episode, though?
No.
All right.
Davis.
And then they just leave Jack.
Yeah, but
She doesn't.
Yeah,
But all we know is
She was
the
unconscious.
doctor and Rose.
Yeah.
Well, all we know is Jack was dead.
Yes.
And they left. Why would they hang around?
Yeah.
But he was a great companion.
Oh, he was awesome.
yeah.
And
I
the
wonder if
Doctor
we'll see
would
him.
have went to look for Rose's body if that would have happened, though.
I don't know.
That's a discussion for a different
That's a
episode.
different podcast called The Adventures of Captain Jack.
He also had other things on his mind.
Okay.
You know,
I want
dying.
to know why no one
Dying.
else became alive.
Yes, I wondered
That's
that
always-
too.
Oh, yeah,
I
you're right.
think it's that she didn't have time. The Doctor stopped her from doing all of that.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, and also
That's how
it
I
wasn't.
like to
I don't
explain it away.
She says I bring life. I don't think she was like.
meaning to do that.
Yeah.
I
It was him just being right around
Proximity.
the corner.
Yes, because he was the closest one to
Right.
them. Everybody else was on like lower floors. So
And he was also the one who had been dead the least amount of time. Could be that she couldn't.
well, maybe because
I mean, there's a lot of all of this
Yeah.
is speculation,
Right.
but there's a lot
They
of different
rationalize
reasons.
A lot
Yeah,
of different
yeah,
things.
because he was probably
It's the story.
mostly dead.
He's mostly dead.
Well, maybe the next Doctor will run into a whole, the space station with a bunch of people on it that won't die. The people on the... I'm sorry, I can't get this.
I mean, Satellite 5.
Yeah, Satellite 5.
Everybody on Satellite 5. I mean, Roderick is immortal.
Yep, they're all there. They end
For
up
the rest of
revisiting
eternity.
Satellite 5, and they're all there.
He's like,
I want my money.
And they keep getting into fights and dying and then coming back to life.
He just walks
God,
around going,
what
"Are
if
you
you're
my
Linda?"
money?"
Well, Linda's...
No, Linda would be out in space.
Yeah,
and then die again, and then float around. She'd come back, die. And she has nothing to hold on to. She'd just be floating in space every time she'd come back to life.
Oh wow, she
That'd be
would.
horrible.
Because
Yeah.
oh
well.
ooh, yeah.
No, it's only Jack.
Yeah, it's only Jack.
It's only Jack, thank goodness. So the idea that the TARDIS console directly harnesses energies which drive the ship and the heart of the TARDIS is from an episode called The Edge of Destruction, and which is on the DVD set The Beginnings, which has the pilot episode and the first episode of the Daleks. So
Oh, was that early?
yes, that early.
Oh, wow.
So it's like Russell is a fan calling back to
I've heard
an
of that one.
episode, of where the TARDIS is alive and telepathic.
And starts messing with everybody on the TARDIS because
Yeah.
it's sick.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So I
have
think
heard of
that's
one.
cool. It's like if you're just watching it for the first time, you don't know about it. But then if you start getting into the lore, the mythology, the continuity of Doctor Who, this will be like, oh, that's really
I'd rather
cool.
get into the data of Doctor Who rather than the lore.
All right, Noonan Singh.
I'll take that back. I have to do one Star Trek reference an episode.
You've already done like 5.
This is time travel, so they're all happening at the same time.
I don't
We just
catch
picked
any
one.
of them, so it's fine.
Welcome to Frank's world.
We're cutting you off. You're done.
Make it so. Oh, sorry. I like the Emperor Dalek, and it's not the first time we've seen an Emperor Dalek. There's been other versions of him, but I think this one is the best looking one, because there's one with a big like sphere dome, and that looks ridiculous to me. And then there's the classic series, and there's some others, but
Most of the stuff in
Yeah.
the classic show looks.
but I like
ridiculous.
this version of the Dalek Emperor.
So where does... In what he was saying, where did this Emperor Dalek come from?
He was in the Time War, and he fell through
It's
it.
just a Dalek in the time
No,
war.
I think he was the Dalek Emperor. in the Time War, and he fell through time and crashed somewhere.
But Eugene, you're saying he's in the classic series?
The title, I guess, of Emperor Dalek has been given to other Daleks, and they look different from your soldier Daleks. If you will.
This was the only Dalek to get through the Time War, so none of those other ones. So he
no, the Dalek and Dalek.
Huh?
The earlier
Dalek
episode,
and Dalek.
yes.
And then this,
there might be others.
Well, there might be others, but like in this particular story,
he's
just
the only
him.
one who fell through.
And then he started to create this grand long game plan of doing this.
And eventually got humans to use genetic material to build Daleks.
Gotcha.
And then he put Simon Pegg into power, and then he started.
Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Or the Jagrafex.
Yeah, Jagrafex.
Yeah. Did I say it
So
wrong?
so back when we talked about Bad Wolf at the teaser for the parting of the ways, I thought that the voice that you heard at the end was Davros, but then now it's revealed that it's the Dalek Emperor, and I think that's a little bait and switch, if you will.
Which voice?
Yes, but people don't know who Davros is yet.
I'm just saying,
Unless
if
you
you're
watch the
classic
old
Who,
show.
if you're classic Who
If you're classic.
watcher, at the end of in the promo, the teaser says they survived through me. That voice,
Okay.
and so, I mean, I think people thought that might have been Davros at the time.
Right.
But then now it's revealed that the Dalek Emperor. And he kind of reminds me of Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by having an exposed brain, just much like Krang has an exposed brain in the belly.
No clue.
This is for all those...
We've reached our geek wall.
You didn't hit it that hard.
So I have a quick question.
Yes.
So a Dalek Emperor can be anyone that's like voted into power kind of thing? But it's
a
like
parliamentary system.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
So it's everyone like, works. But it's not like you're not born a Dalek Emperor, or because
I
all
don't
of them
think
are
it
made,
says.
right?
I don't think it... Yeah.
It could be like a queen bee.
Unless you're like Prince Charles and he'll never be king.
Okay.
Or it's... Some part of me wants to think that they're promoted. You know, like you go through the ranks and then eventually
You don't die.
Yeah, you get this promotion and then you're the Emperor Dalek.
But
I
then they
don't
don't.
know.
They're all equal of not
Yeah,
having
exactly.
I don't think
emotion kind of thing.
promoted.
So
It
it
could
would
be-
have to be
I don't think-
made
I don't know
to
that.
be an
Maybe,
emperor.
yeah. Maybe they're genetically created that way. We could speculate.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But that's basically what it is. It's kind
Yeah.
of like we don't know.
We don't know.
There are emperors. There have been emperors. And
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There was a...
Oh, that's interesting.
there-
Okay, what?
What's interesting?
well,
Yeah,
I was
looked
going
up
to say...
Dalek Emperor. And I'm ignoring Eugene. One of the first Daleks who exterminated Davros and proclaimed the Daleks' future victory over the universe assumed the role of Dalek Prime, which later became Dalek Emperor, and would continue to act as Emperor throughout Dalek history. That's from one of the stories.
Well,
So, oh look, there's the ugly one.
yeah, that's not a good one. Anyway, you guys can look this up online. The thing that I was going to say is that they filmed 2 endings to this episode, but then scrapped, like, I guess, releasing it because of Eccleston's departure was leaked early, so there was no need to film or to have 2 endings, even though they got them or something.
Do you know what the other ending was?
The false ending would have featured similar dialogue to the televised final scene, but the TARDIS would have scanned Rose and the viewers would have seen the display read "Lifeform dying."
So they would have killed Rose.
They would have killed Rose instead of killing the Doctor.
and they never planned to do
sad.
that.
Yeah.
No, they never planned to do that. Yeah.
Because they were, because it would have tied into making Linda with a Y the new companion.
Yeah, Rose 2.0.
Yeah.
But she got sucked into space.
Interesting.
Well, and it also
What
would
did
have.
Rodrigo.
They could have brought in a new doctor, and just in the next episode, switch that it wasn't Rose dying, it was the doctor. Like that would have been a way to leave it open if they were still negotiating
True.
with Eccleston.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't have it firm, or yeah.
Julie,
I'm excited to see this young new chap who's going to be the Doctor.
Julie Gardner, one of the executive producers, cried at the viewing of this episode, their screening, and she wanted to immediately rewatch it, but was voted out, I think. The line at the end when Eccleston is giving his farewell and he says, "Rose, you were fantastic, and so was I," that got cheers in their screening. And I think it's a great line.
It's a great line.
Anything else?
I don't know. First time I watched it, not excited about the new Doctor.
Especially when you go out on such a great monologue. Like, you were fantastic,
It is a great monologue.
and so was I.
Yeah, but it's interesting to think that way because in the next episode and then the next couple, she doesn't like him either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
the whole
true,
thing
too.
is like you're not the Doctor, and
Yeah.
that's exactly how we feel. It's like no, you're not. And then
Kelsey, you want to tell us how you felt?
Oh,
Some
I
more
felt
detail?
the same with Arlene. I
tell
was
the
like,
story.
who is
The
this
story, though.
skinny? Oh, okay. Well, Eugene was the one who introduced me to Doctor Who, and after months of saying, you have to watch this, I finally started watching this series and fell in love with the Doctor. And then, of course, the Doctor gets ripped away from me at the very end, and next time I saw him, I came up to him without even saying hi. I was like, "What's going on? Who is this new Doctor?" I was so new to Doctor Who. I didn't know that he regenerated and all this kind of stuff.
And I think my response was, "You're welcome."
I think it was like, just wait, you'll like him. So if you're new to Doctor Who and you're out there and you're watching and you just watch this episode and you're upset that the Doctor is different now and he's skinny and weird looking and
A lot
weird
of hair.
weird accent, just wait.
You'll feel like that every time he regenerates.
yeah,
This is the nature of the show, Doctor Who. There's always change, and I think it's kept the series alive.
for sure.
Yeah. To geek out a little more, the concept art or the concept work done for the interior of the TARDIS was done by Brian Hitch.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah, and those of us, I guess Josh is one of those, that knows of his work. He did Marvel's The Ultimates is probably one of his more claim to fame things. He drew those issues. So I think that's cool that he got to work on Doctor Who.
And those of us at the table who don't even know what Marvel's The Ultimates is?
It's a new incarnate. It's a reboot of the Avengers.
It's a comic book. We
And
forgot
it's
to mention that.
It's a comic book. It's a reboot of the Avengers that basically the movies The Avengers is more based on.
Yes.
Okay. I have
It kind of like modernized it and cooled it up. So the Ultimates didn't, and it got very popular. And
Yes.
it was Brian.
They were the
Hitch's-
ones who based Nick Fury on Samuel
yes,
Jackson.
that's
Yeah,
the
that was
first time
just
we
the
saw that.
artist's
And then Samuel
interpretation.
Jackson played. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I do
we
remember
wouldn't
that.
have had these Avengers movies if it wasn't for the Ultimates.
So I think that's cool.
That's very cool.
And they made
noting that.
Captain America more military oriented,
Yeah.
less of a Superman type character.
All right.
No, that's just
I'm glad that we all.
I'm like,
I'm glad we all stuck around for series 1 of
Yeah.
Doctor Who. For those of us in America, that would be season 1.
Of the series Doctor Who.
Yes. So let's go around. Would we recommend?
Remember with
The
two-parters
part-
we're going to do.
Ting-
Yes.
But we're going to change it with two-parters. We're going to say, does this second half
Live up.
to the promise from the first half?
Does this second half live up to the promise of the first half being Bad Wolf? Brian.
Yes.
Frank.
Did you want to elaborate, or is that it? For you?
It's just so good. I love the whole thing. I think there's a lot going on in this episode. There's a lot of character stuff with the Doctor, with Rose. Jack is great. The effects are great. You got tons of Daleks. And you got a new Doctor.
Frank.
I think Bad Wolf set it up well, and at the end, the story, was like, okay, we're coming to get you. Great cliffhanger, and just picked up right away. So it just flowed right into this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say yes, it does complete the story and does it well.
Arlene.
yes-ish.
There is no ish.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna say yes.
There can be
Yes.
ish.
The ish is Rose.
you have an
You would have
issue.
liked a new Rose at the end of this, not a new Doctor.
Would you have liked Linda?
I think I would have. I was just a little different.
So the yes-ish, the ish is your issue with Rose.
I guess it is. I need to stop hating on her. She's
Linda
just,
does remind me
she's
of
just young.
some of the older
Companions, absolutely.
Something that fit well.
It's
more,
not.
more bubbly
Yeah, it's not her fault. It's just the writing was.
on the wall. No. Olburn.
Yes. I don't have more to add to that. But yeah, I think it completed the promise of the first episode.
Josh,
Yes, absolutely.
Kelsey.
No. I don't know. It's not. It's not my favorite.
I don't know ish.
I think there's better two-parters in
Oh yeah.
the
I agree.
later series, and I don't know. I don't like that we lose our doctor at the end of the second.
But you had
half.
a big emotional reaction, so that's like.
Yeah, I don't know.
They turned him off
still
so
hurts.
quickly, though, right? It was
Yeah.
just kind of like he died.
It was like ripping a Band-Aid off, and
Yeah.
you're not expecting it as a viewer. And if I was gonna recommend the first part to a new viewer, I don't know. I probably would have paused if I had to have them watch it as two parts as one. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say no. It didn't live up to the first one, just because it's just.
Completely valid.
Yeah, thank you.
I would say yes. I would combine these two together and as a watching, because it does a lot to tell you what Doctor Who is
Yes.
and what it can be.
Yes. I completely agree with that.
But are we doing the other thing as well?
What's the other thing?
About the other thing we usually do? About would you suggest it?
Oh, we just
no.
did.
Oh, I thought that was does it live up?
That's the same thing.
Yeah, but we won't suggest it because it's a second half. Why
Oh.
would we
'Cause we
suggest
can't
a
do
second
that.
half?
All right. Then, yeah, cut that.
So thank you again for keeping up.
I'm not
with...
afraid to look stupid.
Obviously not.
No. I've had a long practice at it. It's a skill.
This is a podcast, so you'll sound stupid, not look stupid.
Yeah. I think you just beat me at that one.
You've heard our views. Are you upset to lose Eccleston? Are you excited to have a new doctor? Or are you both? Let us know. Email us at whonewpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for keeping up with us through this whole series 1 of Doctor Who and Eccleston's tenure as the Doctor, the 9th Doctor. Please subscribe to us, review us, email,
Give it
listen.
a real gusto there.
That's
Like a Jack. That's like a Jack pep talk.
If you don't, you're gonna die,
Just,
or you can hear us
write
die.
some good stuff about us, and
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, tell your friends if you have any.
if you don't comment, we'll just wither away and die.
And we'll probably still do the podcast because we enjoy it.
We're going to keep going, and hopefully you will follow us, and we will see you the next
You
time.
will. We are going to keep going, and you're going to follow us.
And those of us who follow us will be our brothers.
We'll be our brothers in arms.
So we will see you next time when the future becomes
the
the present.
You've just listened to an episode of Who Knew. Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
You can find his work at theuniverseexplodes.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/whonewpodcast.
All our episodes are on whonewpodcast.com.
You can leave comments there or email us at
whonewpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who.
The longest running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell.
Sydney Newman.
Verity Lambert.
Ron Grainer.
And all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work
Your work
continues
continues
to
to
inspire
inspire
and
and
entertain.